Progress.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. You mentioned the soldiers. Actually, somebody sent me an email that would mean a lot to him if we started or ended the shir with a prayer for the soldiers. So today we'll do that. Hashem should watch over all of the soldiers and all of Klal Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael v'chol makom shehim. Also, the Shiurim of Chodesh Shvat are sponsored by the Israeli family. Le'iloi Nishmas, Meir Ben David. Okay. We're learning Siman Samach Gimel. We are in the middle of Sif Vav. Siman Samach Gimel, Sif Vav. The Mechaber said that somebody wants to be machmer and to stand up while he's saying Shema, let's say during the day, like Shitas Beis Shammai, Nikra Avaryan, he's called an Avaryan. Because Allah is like Beis Hillel, that Uvkumecha is Bizman Shedech Mnei Adam Lakom. Says Mishna Berura Siv Katan Vav, Lahachmer, Kasav Yam Shosham Perek Zayin, Devav Akamas Memalav, Misha Machmer, B'fnei Rabim, B'davar Shemutter, someone who's Machmer in front of the Tzibur on something which is Mutter, V'ika L'meichash L'yuhara, and there is a concern of Gaiva, Menadin Oisa, we put him in Cherem. That is, if it's something that has widespread mutter in Klal Yisrael, and the guy is machmir b'fnei rabim, so the halacha is we put him in cherem. So if you ever wanted to be in cherem, this is what you do. You're machmir on something that has accepted kula in Klal Yisrael. Okay. Just in case you wanted to know how to do that. Okay. But if we know he's doing it for the sake of heaven, not for gaiva, ein menadin oisei. But if we don't know and we're choishesh that maybe he's doing it for gaiva, then we do put him in chim. V'im machmer b'fnei rabbi, someone who's machmer before his rebbe, v'rabbi mekel, and the rebbe's lenient, menadin oisei, we put him in chim. Afilu avad l'shem shemaim, even if he does for the sake of heaven. So a student is not allowed to be machmer in the presence of a rebbe, even l'shem shamayim. Even if it's not something that's so widespread that it's mutter, but the rebbe's not machmer. La yachmer neged divrei rabbi. You should not be machmer in against his rebbe. Unless he has an absolute proof against what his rebbe is saying. Ad kan l'shaynai. Okay. La moed. Dafka bezehu da asar. Dafka to stand it's asar mishum shenira lakol mishum chumra kavad. Everyone sees that you're doing it as a chumra. Avalim oimeid yachal leishev. But if you're standing for Shema, so Beis Hillel would say you could stand. What does Beis Shammai say? Beis Shammai says, in the morning you stand. In the morning you stand, and in the evening you lie down. But someone who's standing, he's allowed to sit down. Because then it doesn't look like you're doing it for a chumra. Rak mishum d'tzarach leishev. Then it looks like you just need to sit. V'davka b'shachris, aval ba'arvis. But in the evening, ein loy lahatois, you're not allowed to lean, v'leishev, and sit kisha'imid when you're standing. Denira da'oisa k'bei Shammai. It's very interesting. In the nighttime, if you're already standing, you cannot sit down. Now, does the Mishna Berura mean you can't sit down, you can lean and sit? Or does it mean you can't lean or sit? We know that Beis Shammai says in the evening you say Shema b'shachbecha when you're lying down. So certainly if you're sitting up you can't lean down. If you're standing up you can't lean over. Are you allowed to, if you're standing in the nighttime, are you allowed to sit down according lahalacha? The Mishna Berura says, "Ba'arvis ein loy lahatois v'leishev kisha'amed." In the evening, you should not lean and sit when you're standing. What about just to sit? It's a matter of time. It's cold in the shul. You were standing, and then you want to sit, and then you remember, I can't sit. Are you allowed to just sit, or is the problem sitting and leaning? Okay. Siv katan ches nikra avaryan. you're called a sinner. Kedamrina beparakira, demand de avar adrabanon shari lemikrile avaryana. Someone who violates a derabanan, you're allowed to call him a sinner. Kasav el Yerabba b'shem marshal. The El Yerabba says in the name of the marshal. Everyone agrees that on Yom Kippur you're allowed to stand for Shema. You're not doing it out of gaiva. That's the mitzvah. To be comparable to angels. So for Shema on Yom Kippur you're allowed to stand. Prima Gadam says even on Yom HaKippurim you cannot stand for Shema. Sif Gimel. If you were walking on the road, you're going to shul, and you realize, hey, it's Shabbos morning, it's the summer, it's the early Zman Kriya Shema. Hey, if I don't say Shema now, I'm going to miss the Zman. Are you allowed to say Shema walking to shul? You need to stand, meaning to stop for the first pasuk. You cannot say the first pasuk of Shema walking. You cannot say the first pasuk of Shema walking. Yeah, good. It says Mishna Berura Hayom Mahalech Afa Gavdil El Sif Aleph Mashma Dimin Adin Motor Likros Kishu Mahalech. Even though earlier in Sif Aleph it's Masha, the Min Adin you're allowed to read Shema when you're walking. Right? The Mechaber says, Koirei Oisa, Mahalech, Oy Oymed, Oy Shoichev. Mikal Makayim, Mitzvah Min HaMuvchar, Lamoid, B'Shas Pasuk Rishain. You should at least stop for the first Pasuk. So the first, in other words, Mei Ikar Hadin, you are allowed to be walking to say the first Pasuk. But Mitzvah Min HaMuvchar is to stop. However, the Ber Halacha in Siman Ayin Beis writes that the first Pasuk, Asur likroi kishehu mahalech. Interesting. So here we're seeing it's a mitzvah min hamuvchar to stop when you say the first pasuk. Duhu ikar kriya shema. Lefi she'enoi miyushav kol kach. A person is not so settled. Then yachol lechavein. A person can't have intent kishu mahalech ka'asher hu oimed. When you're walking as when you're standing. Because you would not have to repeat it if you said Shema walking. Tzarech lamoid. You have to stand. You have to stop. You have to stop in one place. You'd be allowed to say it whether you're standing or sitting. Even for the nighttime Shema, you can stop. By the way, if you're walking, you have to stop and you could say it either standing or sitting. Am I allowed to sit for Kriya Shema Shal Arvis? Doesn't it look like I'm doing like Beis Shammai? No, you can't. If you were standing, you can't sit. So now we have an answer to our question. Kriya Shema Shal Arvis. If you were standing, you walked into a shul, it's freezing cold. So sometimes you like to stand. And then you sort of warm up. You may not sit down for Shema. It is asur. However, if you're walking, you could sit down for Shema. The davka mishami amidol yeshiva, davka from standing to sitting, asur likra Shema Shal Arvis. Mishum denerik sha'isik ve'shamai. Masha'ein kein mehalicha yeshiva. But from walking to sitting, it's mutter. Listen very carefully. We had a shaila before. If you were standing, could you sit for Shema of the nighttime Shema? And the answer is no. The answer is you can't. Could you stand for the daytime Shema? No. Could you stand for the nighttime Shema? We saw yesterday, no. So, you may never stand for Shema. If you're in a sitting position, it is asur to stand for Shema. If you stand, you're a sinner. You're a sinner. Now, if you want to become a sinner, the way to do it is to stand for Shema. Okay? I'm just emphasizing the point. You cannot stand for Shema, for the daytime Shema. Also, for the nighttime Shema, the Mishna Berura said in Siv Katan, hey, you cannot stand. The reason you can't stand for the daytime Shema is because that's not like Beis Hillel and not like Beis Shammai. The reason, to stand for the daytime Shema is doing like Beis Shammai. To stand for the nighttime Shema is you're in outer space. You're not allowed to do that either. You're not doing like anybody. So you may never stand for Shema. To sit for the daytime Shema, you could sit for the daytime Shema, but to sit for the nighttime Shema, you cannot do. You're an avaryan. If you're riding on a wagon or a boat, you don't have to stop. Meaning you do not have to stop. You could be mechaven while ayin v'shar tshuva pri megadim. Look in the Shari Tshuva and the Pri Megadim. What about if you're driving the car? Are you allowed to say Shema while you're driving? The Shari Tshuva says, don't have to stop. Pri Megadim says, you need to stop for the first pasuk. Regarding Tfilas Hadarach, you should not be driving while you say it. You should pull over. Whether you're driving or whether you're a passenger. How is Shema different then? What?
How is Shema different? Didn't you just say Shema? You could be driving when you say Shema?
Yeah. You could be driving when you say Shema. Some say you could even be the driver. You could definitely be a passenger and say Shema. And whether you could be the driver, the Shari Tshuva says you could be the driver, and the Pri Megadim says not. Legabe Tfilas Had.
Shari Tshuva talks about driving a car?
Talking about an animal. What's the difference? Manhig is a behema. It's the same thing. The manhig, as opposed to the roichev. Yeah? But legabe Tfilas Hadarach, kisharoichev al behema, Siman Kuf Yotziv Katan Chav Gimel. You need to stop, because you're now to say Tfilas Hadarach Mahalech. You're allowed to say Shema Mahalech. That's right, because Shema is Uvlachta Chavadarach, but Tfilas Hadarach is more chamor than Shema.
Isn't there a difference between an animal and a car? The animal, the problem is that you might fall off. You're afraid, so you have to stop.
And a car, you might drive off the bridge. Yeah, it's also.
You're not
Or
driving.
the guy in front of you. Yeah. The guy in front of you.
What, for Tfilas Hadarach?
Both.
So the answer is Tfilas Hadarach, it's not a matter of kavana. Tfilas Hadarach, you don't say bederach. You say it, in other words, the chadchila you should pull over. Obviously, if it's a sakana, you can't pull over.
Tesla.
What?
Are you driving the Tesla? You're driving the Tesla. Self-drive.
Mm-hmm. A self-drive? Just let me know what road you're on, okay? You know? But, you want to know, self-drive, do you have to? Yeah, you do have to. I mean, according to the Ikar Din, you would have to. Because even a passenger should not say Tfilas Hadarach. Now, what do you do if you're on the runway of a plane? So you get on the loudspeaker, and you say, or let's say you're flying, you say, please stop the plane. I guess we'll have to see when we get there. This is something I vaguely remembered, but it's not really observed. But l'chachila Tfilas Hadarach should be said not driving. Not only you not driving, not in motion. But Kriya Shema you can, because by Kriya Shema it says V'lachta Chavadarach. Now, so Yoshev B'karin Mesfina Eino Tzarach Lamoid Diuchal L'chavein Heitev Uvaroichev Al HaBehema, Yesh Deos Ben Achroinim, V'nachain Lahachmir. Now, so Yoshev B'karin Mesfina Eino Tzarach Lamoid Diuchal L'chavein Heitev Uvaroichev Al HaBehema, Yesh Deos Ben Achroinim, V'nachain Lahachmir. Now, so Yoshev B'karin Mesfina Eino Tzarach Lamoid Diuchal L'chavein Heitev Uvaroichev Al HaBehema, Yesh Deos Ben Achroinim, V'nachain Lahachmir. it's good to be machmir. What does it mean it's good to be machmir? That you should stop for the first pasuk. So a wagon or a boat, you can be mechavein. Riding on an animal, you cannot be mechavein. Let's just see. Chaf Gimel. By Tfilas Hadarach, the Mishna Berura says in Siman Kufyud Siv Chaf Gimel that Eino Tzarch Leireid Velalois from the behema, but you stop the behema if you can, because otherwise you're mahalich. But if you're in a wagon, you're supposed to stop it. Yep. What about in a car? Oh, and the Dirsha points out, not for Kriya Shema. Kriya Shema, you don't have to stop.
No, if you're driving.
And if you're driving, Avada, says the Aruch HaShulchan, if you're driving and the Chazon Ish paskins, you should stop the car. Nobody did it, because whoever gets up to Siman Kuf Yud, by that time you're flying through a page a day, who could remember anything? But if you actually learn the Mishna Berura, Maker, then you got to stop. The thing is, in America, usually the places they give you to say Tfilas Haderech is on a bridge. I don't recommend stopping on a bridge. They're going to think you're going to jump or something. Also, not a good idea to stop your car in the middle of a bridge. But if, let's say, you could pull over easily, that's the ideal way to say Tfilas Haderech. Who says that? Mishna Berura, Chazon Ish, Aruch HaShulchan. Yeah, fine. Kriya Shema. No, we don't say that by Kriya Shema. Only by Tfilas Haderech. Siv Katan Yud Aleph.
What's the chiluk between sitting in the morning Shema and standing by the nighttime Shema? So by the nighttime Shema, you're not following anybody, and that's the problem. But sitting by the morning Shema...
By the nighttime Shema, you want to know why you're not to stand?
Is the problem. Standing is because you're not following anybody. You're not following Hashem or Beisel.
Right.
But sitting in the morning, who are you following then? You're also not following anybody.
Sitting in the morning, it's interesting. We did not see that case discussed explicitly, but I want to throw in another factor that the Mishna Berura said, and I think this would answer it, and that is, look in the beginning of Sivkat and Zayin, to stand up, lamoid, right? Standing always looks like a chumrah. Standing is a more strict position. It's a more demanding position. Therefore, you can't do it even when you're not going like anybody. Sitting is more lenient. So it doesn't look like you're being a machmer. It's better, in other words, it's worse to be machmer than to be mekel. In this issue. It's worse to be machmer, even though it's like nobody, than to be mekel when it's like nobody. That's what it sounds like. Okay, good point. But now, when do you have to stop? The pasuk rishon, Baruch Shem K'mal Levad, Bechlal pasuk rishon hu, V'yesh machmirin ad alevavecha, Umisham b'heila mutar l'krois v'halicha b'amida. Why ad alevavecha? The Eliyah Rabbah says that to read Kriya Shema while you're walking is worse than not being mechavein. Not being mechavein, it's okay if you're not mechavein for the pasuk v'ohavta, but walking is worse. So so you have to stop. I think it's very interesting to highlight that by Tfilas Haderech lechatchila it should not be said mahalech. But we're not learning Hilchos Tfilas Haderech now. But I'm sure we'll remember this bombshell when we get there. Okay? Have a good day, everyone. Hatzlacha.
Tell me, well, everyone by Mars.
Recording stopped.
What?
Everyone standing by Mars.